Imagine this. Instead of feeling so down about yourself and so negative about everything in life, you finally have hope and you feel positive and you're going after what you truly desire in life. And honestly, this all comes down to being private about your life and keeping things to yourself. So let's talk about the 6 things you should never tell anyone. Number 1, past mistakes. We love thinking about the past. We love being nostalgic, but honestly, think about it. It's usually a bad thing. Every time you're dwelling on the past, you're allowing that past mistake to exist in the current present moment. And that's the worst thing you could possibly do. Stop holding on to these past mistakes. Stop talking to people about them. Just let them go. And if you want to know exactly what I'm talking about, I have some examples here. So I should have started that business sooner, because if I did, I'd be so rich. Or wow, I really should have spent more time with my friends because now they moved away and I don't have as many friends as I used to. That's the thing. There's limiting beliefs in here, first of all, and these are mistakes. That's okay. We can work from our mistakes, right? We can move forward. We can learn. We can grow. When we make mistakes, it's honestly a good thing, but just don't hold on to them. Don't keep talking about them. Don't allow them to exist. Just move forward from them. Next up, we're going over something that has to do with your past mistakes, and that is number 2, your weaknesses. Things happen. It's okay, and that's a part of life, right? When you make mistakes, you find out things about yourself and you tend to find out your weaknesses. One of my biggest mistakes that revealed a major weakness was the fact that I was addicted to gambling at 21 years old because the people I went with were friends and family and they enabled it. And I realized that it was bad and that it was an addiction because the guy that checked IDs looked at me and said, "Oh, I don't need to check your ID. You're here all the time." And that's when I was like, oh shit, okay, I have a problem. So when you're able to figure out what your weakness is, try not to tell anybody about it, right? And try to figure out how to overcome your weakness. And when someone knows your weaknesses, right, they can manipulate you into doing things that you don't want to do. So for instance, with me, with the gambling, I had friends and family tell me, "Oh, no worries, like we'll just go for a couple hours. It'll be fine. We're not going to stay forever." And then that would make me feel like, "Oh, okay, well, it's not that bad. Like I got stuff I got to do and we're just going to go for a little bit." But that's the thing. And I'm not trying to blame them. I'm not trying to blame anyone here. I'm taking full responsibility for the fact that this was something I needed to admit to myself, which I eventually did. But they are still addicted to this day. It's not easy to overcome a gambling addiction. But here's the thing. When people know that it's something that you're addicted to, it's a weakness of yours, they're going to enable you to continue doing it if they don't feel good about doing it either. So try to keep these things to yourself and try your best to overcome your weaknesses. It is a battle, but it is so good when you overcome the battle. It is so much better when you're able to quit addictions and weaknesses, and you are going to be able to do it easily if you keep it to yourself and you come up with ways to get out of things when people are trying to manipulate you or enable you to do the thing that you don't want to do. And while we're on the topic of money, because that took a lot of my money when I gambled, let's talk about number 3, which is financial details. You do not want to be sharing how much money you're making with someone else, especially if you're making more money than the person you're talking to, because you're gonna make them feel bad about it. I had a best friend, let's call her Ashley, and she was making a significantly higher amount of money than I was. And she always tried to make it seem like it wasn't that big of a deal and like I would make money too, but it always made me feel bad and it always frustrated me and I always got annoyed, honestly, because she just brought it up all the time too. Like, especially if you're making a lot of money, don't brag about it. People don't like that. It's not really a cool thing to flex. Just keep it to yourself. And the thing that really bothered me the most though was how she would compare the way we made money. Oh, well, it's like apples and oranges. Like I make a whole lot of money like in one night, but you just make it a little differently. You make it in longer periods of time. Like it's no big deal. Like we're still both making a lot of money. And like I never really told her how much money I was making. So that could have been a me problem too. But really, it ended up making me resent her when she would constantly brag about how much money she was making and how she was making it all the time. And it just made me feel like shit about myself, honestly. Like I just wasn't vibing with her anymore. And it really made me end up not being friends with her anymore. So that's what I'm trying to get at. Don't brag about how much money you're making to someone if you really just don't know how much money they're making. And if you think that they're not making as much as you, really try your best not to. It's just not a good flex. Like you don't want to be flexing that stuff, especially if you're talking to someone that doesn't have as much money as you. And listen, people run into financial hardships too. Like, let's say you're talking to your brother about how much money you're making, right? And you're making so much money, and then you hit a financial hardship, and your brother thinks, well, oh, like she's making all this money. Why does she need my help now? It's going to make you look like a fool, and it's going to make you feel bad about yourself. And it's also going to stop you from being able to ask for money in the future because they're going to think, well, you were silly with your money. Like, why should I let you borrow money? So if it ever comes up where you have someone ask you how much money you're making, it's best to just change the topic and not talk about it because you may end up hurting someone's feelings, or you may end up running into a financial hardship where you need to borrow money from somebody and they don't think you're responsible enough for it, or they just have some type of wrong assumption about you. So just keep it to yourself. No one needs to know how much money you're making except for you. Don't tell anybody. And let's keep moving. We've got number 4. Personal problems. Personal problems need to stay personal. Stop sharing them with people. We all have problems in our lives, and this could be money issues. This could be family drama. This could be your car breaking down. This could be your landlord giving you problems. These problems should be handled with yourself first and foremost. And if you need help, go to a trusted family member, right? Or a really close friend. The internet does not need to know what your story is all the time. They don't need to know your personal problems. They don't need to know your financial details. They don't need to know any of that shit. Keep it off the damn internet, because all of these problems can unfortunately make you look bad. Even if you did nothing wrong, it could just make you look like a fool, and it can make you look bad. So that's why I'm saying just keep it to yourself. It's not worth it. You don't want anyone assuming anything negative about you, especially if you're trying to have people take you seriously and you're trying to run like a personal brand or you're trying to run a business. This is where you should especially not be telling people what's going on in your real life. People don't need to know about your personal problems because they will always assume the worst. For instance, let's say you shared to your Instagram story, like you're $20,000 in debt and you're really struggling right now. You're gonna look desperate, and people are gonna be like, well, oh gosh, like she's probably got like some horrible shopping addiction. Like, what's wrong with her? They're just gonna think negatively of you, and you just don't want that. Even if it could just be like student debt, right? Or let's say you said it was student debt. Let's say you're $20,000 in debt because of student debt, and you're so pissed off about it. People are gonna think, oh, well, she's just not trying hard enough, or, oh, she just can't find a job because she's got a stupid degree. Why even give people the time of day to think anything of you? Don't let them. Don't even let them. Protect your peace. That's what the title of this video is. People don't need to know everything about you. They don't need to make assumptions about you. You don't need people's judgments about you because they're still gonna make assumptions and judgments regardless. So keep the personal problems out of their minds. You don't want it. And when I say go to trusted people that you need help from, I'm talking really close family members and friends. You do not want to be going to like aunts and uncles and cousins that you just don't really vibe with, or that you know kind of feel like icky around, like you don't really trust them. Don't go to them. They don't need to know. You're gonna end up feeling embarrassed the next time you go around them. I had this happen actually. When my mom died, I was very vulnerable and I was opening up about a lot of my problems to certain family members. And to this day, I feel uncomfortable showing my face around them and being around them. I don't know why, it's just something about it. So don't share your personal problems with people that you just don't really trust or feel super comfy around, right? Just keep it to close friends and family that you know care and love about you, right? These people that I had told didn't do anything to help me and just made me feel like shit about the situation. So it really just isn't worth it. And this brings me to number 5, negative opinions of others. You do not want to be talking negatively about others. It's not a good look on you. Please don't do it. I've been there. And that's the thing too. When I confessed my problems and my hardships and things that I was going through to certain family members, they ended up talking shit about me, and that made me not like them even more. So that's the thing. You don't want to be doing that. You do not want to be talking negatively about others. It makes you look bad, and people just aren't going to come to you for advice. They're not going to trust you. You're going to end up being so alone. Nobody likes a negative Nancy. Don't be a negative person and talk negatively about others. Stay positive and assume positivity too. That's another thing. Let's say you have a best friend and she canceled on you last minute and you're like, what the hell? Like, I got all ready and I'm pumped up and I want to go out, right? But let's say she's really going through it. She's got something that is really difficult that she's processing, and she doesn't want to fully open up about it. And listen, she doesn't owe you anything. She doesn't have to open up to you about it, by the way. It's on her if she feels comfy enough to do that. But here's the thing. Assume that that's what happened, right? Assume that she is really going through something right now, that she isn't able to come out as her best self, and that's why she had to cancel last minute. She tried getting herself together. She tried her best, right? But she just couldn't get herself to do it. Be easy on her. Now, if she's canceling plans every single time you try to hang out with her, then there's a problem, because I've been there, and those are the friends you gotta snip. That's not worth it. Every single time, no. Every once in a while, that's okay. And instead of staying negative and staying mad at her, because I know you're gonna be a little mad, right? We've all been there. We've all been a little mad at our friend that canceled last minute. Think this instead. Think, I'm so grateful to have her in my life. I'm grateful for all the times we've had together. And I'm so excited to hang out with her in the future again. And I am here when she is ready. That's it. And speaking of the future, let's talk about your goals and why you shouldn't be telling people what your goals are. So that's number 6. Please stop, because every single time you do that, you are releasing dopamine, and that is the brain's reward system, and that's the desire and the motivation to go after your goal. But if you tell somebody what your goals are, that dopamine's getting released way too soon. So you want to stop doing that. You got to stop telling people what your goals are and actually move forward with them. At least be halfway through a goal before sharing it with any trusted family member or friend. And I'm talking, keep it closed, keep your lips sealed when it comes to the internet. Do not share what you want to do with people on the internet, because you're going to get way too much dopamine. You're going to get way too much reward, way too fast, especially if you haven't even started on that goal. So keep it to your damn self. Another reason why you want to make sure you keep your lips sealed is because people may try to dissuade you. A lot of people will probably try to dissuade you. People don't always want the best for you. It's just a part of life. And even friends and family may not want the best for you because they don't want to see you do better than them. It's just this weird thing. It's called Schadenfreude, actually. My dad told me this when I was a real little girl. He said, not everybody wants the best for you, Michaelin. So just understand that and just roll with it. Just know that not everybody wants the best for you. They get happy when they see you fail. That's what Schadenfreude means. So keep your goals to yourself, or tell them to people that you can really fully trust, like friends, family members, coaches, mentors, anybody that's going to help you achieve the goal and touch base with you and say like, hey, are you still working on that thing? I know you were really excited about it. And you can either say like, ugh, I haven't been doing it. I'm glad you brought it up, right? Or yeah, I'm doing it. I'm really glad that you are checking in on me. And listen, if you're serious and you're ready to get started on your big goals, but you need a little help, no worries, I got you. We can work together. If you're trying to get started on a YouTube channel, work on a personal brand, get started on a business, any of these things, I'm telling you, I can help you do it. So scroll down right now, click on the top link in the description, and I'll see you next time, bestie. Bye for now.